When we talk about salvation, what do we mean? Join me as we gain a new perspective on salvation. Today, as we look at the passages surrounding the fall of man and the repercussions of the fall, we attempt to find a new perspective on the curse of man. As we look at the book of Genesis 1:28, the commandments that God gives to Adam, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and govern it, reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground. Man is given custodial care of the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. He is told to govern it. That word occurs 22 times in the Old Testament, 5 times in a very positive sense. The rest of the times it means dominate. Here in the creation narrative, it's all positive. After here, it becomes negative. Man is told that he should reign over the fish, over the birds, over the animals. That word occurs 14 times in the Old Testament. 4 times saying that he should govern the land, he should rule over the land. Those are all positive references. They all occur here in the creation narrative. After that, 8 times this word is used to refer to dominating someone else. 8 times as a slave, once as actually rape. In the context, God gives man a command to govern, to reign, to be a ruler, to care for the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, to take care of it, to cultivate it, to protect it. But as a result of sin, it's interesting that almost immediately domination, this very same word, becomes a negative thing. To Eve, God says, you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. Adam and Eve in the original creation were together, given the command to jointly rule. Now, as part of the curse, Eve is told, instead of trying to rule with your husband, you will try to rule your husband. And he, in turn, will try to dominate you immediately as a result of the sin. Adam and Eve changed that protective, caring, governing of the plant and animal kingdom and of each other, and turns it into a desire to dominate. Now, in chapter 4, when Cain and Abel were introduced to them, the Lord accepts Abel's sacrifice because he gave the best that he had. He doesn't look the same way at Cain's sacrifice, because Cain, instead of offering the best that he had, gave some of what he had. The Lord doesn't accept his gift. Cain is discouraged. He's depressed. The Lord says to Cain, why are you depressed? Why is your face so long? The Lord says in chapter 4, verse 7, if you refuse to do what's right, watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, very same words. But you must dominate it and be its master, very same words. What do we have going on here? What we have is a very distinct movement Man is told to reign, to be a king, to govern, to protect, to care for the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom that he's been put in charge of. Instead, after the sin, man seeks to dominate it. We move from reigning to domination. What's the big difference? In reigning, your interest is in your subject. In dominating, your interest is in yourself. It's all motivated by self-interest. In fact, in chapter 4, we have the epitome of domination when Cain takes Abel into the field and then kills him. There is no greater domination than to take someone else's life. We see now the crux of biblical history. The nature of temptation is that the enemy takes something that's good. He turns it into a desire. It ends up as a passion and a lust. The nature of sin is the enemy takes something which originally was positive, rain. He turns it into a domination, and it ends being exploitation. Now, the word exploitation doesn't actually occur in the creation or the fall narrative, but it is a common concept in the Old Testament. 75 times exploitation is used in the Old Testament. A third of the times it means to treat someone poorly, simply. 4 times it refers to slavery. 12 times it refers to rape. Interesting that some 34 times, well over a third of the uses, it's actually a positive reference. But it's when we look to ourselves and in essence we exploit ourselves. The Lord can bring affliction on us. This verb to teach us something. We can afflict ourselves. Frequently that's called humbling ourselves. The center of sin is selfishness. The center of sin takes something that's good, turns it into something that's bad, and then converts it into something that's actually harmful to others, harmful to ourselves. That is a new perspective on the curse that God gave Adam and Eve. The curse is not so much something that God forced on them. It's rather the natural result of their act in breaking God's commandment.